I ruined my best friend's career in front of the entire executive board, and I'd do it 1,000 times over. Not because I'm vindictive, not because I wanted to watch her fall, but because some people build their empires on the backs of people who trusted them, and sometimes the only way to bring down a thief is to show everyone exactly what they stole. And that morning, in that glass conference room on the 42nd floor, surrounded by the most powerful people in our industry, I stopped being the friend who forgave everything and became the person who burned it all down. But here's what nobody tells you about revenge. The moment you decide to destroy someone, you have to be willing to lose everything too. And I was. God help me, I was ready. My name is Claire. I'm 27. And 8 months ago, I thought I had finally made it. I worked at Richardson Media in Manhattan, one of the biggest marketing firms on the East Coast. I'd clawed my way up from intern to junior executive in 4 years. 80-hour weeks, countless pitches, surviving on coffee and ambition. I'd sacrificed relationships, sleep, my entire 20s for this job, and it was finally paying off. I was up for creative director, the youngest person ever considered for the position. It was mine. Everyone knew it. I'd brought in 3 major clients in 6 months, campaigns that went viral, revenue that made the executives actually smile. I just had to nail one final pitch. The Harrison account, a luxury hotel chain worth $40 million. They wanted a complete rebrand, social media, commercials, print, everything. Whoever landed this account would get the promotion. I'd been working on it for 3 months, day and night, every detail perfect, every angle calculated. I had one person I trusted with everything. Rachel. Rachel Chen was my best friend since college, 7 years of friendship. We'd moved to New York together after graduation, struggled through roach-infested apartments and ramen dinners and soul-crushing entry-level jobs. When I got hired at Richardson, I helped her get in too. We were a team, partners. She was in the same department, 2 levels below me, but I never treated her that way. I brought her into my projects. I taught her everything I knew. When I stayed late, she stayed late. When I celebrated wins, she celebrated with me. I trusted her with my life, and with every single detail of the Harrison pitch. We'd work on it together in my apartment. I'd share my laptop, my notes, my entire strategy. She'd give feedback, help with research, brainstorm taglines. She knew that presentation better than anyone except me. Every slide, every statistic, every creative concept. I never thought twice about it. 3 weeks before the pitch, something shifted. Rachel started acting strange, distant. She'd be on her phone constantly, angling it away when I walked by. She started taking long lunches, wouldn't say where she was going, and she stopped helping with the Harrison project. Said she was swamped with her own work. I didn't push it. I figured she was stressed. We all were. 2 weeks before my presentation, I found out Rachel had requested a meeting with the executives. Private meeting. She told our boss, Catherine, that she had an urgent pitch idea. Something big. My stomach dropped when I heard. Something felt wrong. I asked Rachel about it. She smiled, that same warm smile I'd trusted for 7 years, and told me it was nothing. Just a small campaign idea for a local client. Nothing that would interfere with my Harrison pitch. She squeezed my hand and said, "I'd never do anything to hurt you, Claire. You know that." I believed her. The day before my presentation, I stayed at the office until midnight, rehearsing every word, perfecting every transition. I was ready. This was going to change my life. I went home, barely slept, woke up at 5 a.m., put on my best suit, navy blue, the one that made me feel powerful, did my makeup, grabbed my laptop bag. I had the USB drive with my presentation in my pocket. I felt invincible. I got to the office at 7. The meeting was at 9. Catherine called me into her office at 7:30. She looked uncomfortable. That was my first sign. Catherine never looked uncomfortable. She was a shark, 55 years old, ran the entire creative division, feared by everyone. She told me to sit down. Then she said, "Claire, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." My heart started pounding. She turned her laptop around. On the screen was a presentation. The title, Harrison Hotels, A New Legacy. It was beautiful, professional, polished. It was my presentation. Every slide, every concept, every tagline, every piece of data I'd spent 3 months compiling. The color scheme I'd agonized over. The campaign slogan I'd brainstormed at 3 in the morning. The social media mock-ups I'd designed from scratch. All of it, stolen. Catherine said, Rachel submitted this yesterday. She said she'd been working on it for months. She's presenting it to the Harrison executives this morning at 9. I couldn't breathe. The room tilted. I said, "That's mine. Catherine, that's my pitch. I've been working on this for 3 months. Rachel, she helped me with research. She knew everything, but that's my work." Catherine's face was stone. "Do you have proof?" "Proof. I had drafts on my laptop. I had emails to myself. I had everything." But Rachel had taken my exact presentation and submitted it as her own. And she'd done it first. Catherine said, "I want to believe you, Claire." But Rachel's made some serious accusations. She says you've been acting erratically, missing deadlines. She says she's been covering for you. She says she developed this campaign independently and you might be confused because you saw early drafts when you were helping her. Helping her. My hands were shaking. "Catherine, I swear to God, that is my work. Every single slide. Ask anyone. Ask the team. They've seen me working on this." Catherine sighed. "The Harrison executives are already here. Rachel's presenting in 90 minutes. I can't pull her now without concrete proof that she stole your work. If you have emails, dated files, anything that proves this is yours, bring it to me. Otherwise, I was screwed." I ran back to my desk, pulled up every file, every email. I had timestamps. I had drafts dating back 3 months. I had messages to Rachel asking for feedback. I had everything. But then I saw it. 3 days ago, Rachel had accessed my company cloud account. She'd downloaded every file related to the Harrison pitch. And then she deleted her access logs. Almost. She'd missed one. A single login record buried in the system metadata. I screenshot everything. Every timestamp. Every file. Every piece of evidence. Then I marched back to Catherine's office. I said, "I have proof, and I'm not letting her present my work." Catherine looked at the evidence. Her jaw tightened. She picked up her phone and called security. Then she called the conference room where Rachel was setting up. She said, "Change of plans. We're having both pitches back to back. Rachel presents first, then you. The executives can decide." It wasn't fair. It wasn't justice, but it was a chance. I had 1 hour. I went back to my desk and rebuilt everything. I couldn't use the same slides. Rachel had already submitted them. So, I took my original concepts and elevated them, made them better, sharper. I pulled data she hadn't included. I created new mock-ups. I worked like my life depended on it, because it did. At 9 a.m., we walked into that conference room. The Harrison executives were there. 3 of them, all middle-aged men in expensive suits. Our entire executive board was there. Catherine, our CEO, department heads, and Rachel. She looked perfect. Hair in a sleek bun, red dress, confident smile. She didn't even look at me. She presented first. And she was good. I'll give her that. She delivered my ideas like they were hers. She answered questions smoothly. The executives nodded. They smiled. They were impressed. When she finished, they applauded. Then it was my turn. I stood up, connected my laptop, opened my presentation. And I didn't start with the pitch. I started with the truth. I said, "Before I begin, I need to show you something." I pulled up the evidence, the file timestamps, the cloud access logs, the emails between Rachel and me where I'd asked for her feedback on MY campaign, the dated drafts that proved I'd been working on this for months. I said, "Rachel Chin stole this pitch from me 3 days ago. Every concept you just saw was mine. Every slide, every word. She accessed my files without permission and submitted my work as her own." The room went silent. Rachel's face went white, then red. She stood up and said, "That's insane. Claire, what are you? You're lying. You're trying to sabotage me because you're jealous." I cut her off. I said, "Then explain the access logs. Explain why your submission is dated 2 days after you downloaded my files. Explain why I have 3 months of drafts and you have nothing." Catherine said, "Rachel, is this true?" Rachel looked around the room, at all those powerful people staring at her, waiting. She broke. Not immediately, but I watched it happen. The cracks in her perfect facade. She tried to say something, tried to deny it, but her voice wavered. Her hands shook. Then she said, I helped develop those ideas. Claire, you know I did. I spent hours on that project with you." I said, "Helping someone and stealing their work are not the same thing." One of the Harrison executives, the oldest one, silver hair, sharp eyes, said, "I think we've seen enough. Ms. Richardson, we'd like to see Claire's presentation. The real one." I presented, and I destroyed it. I showed them everything Rachel had left out. I showed them deeper insights, better strategy, creative concepts she couldn't have explained because she didn't understand the foundation. I spoke for 30 minutes. The executives asked questions. I answered every single one. When I finished, the room was quiet. Then the silver-haired executive said, "We'll take the account." With Claire as lead, Rachel was fired that afternoon, escorted out by security. Her name was blacklisted in the industry. Catherine made sure of that. I got the promotion. Creative director, corner office, everything I'd worked for. But here's the thing about revenge. It doesn't feel the way you think it will. I thought I'd feel victorious, powerful. Instead, I just felt tired and sad because I'd lost my best friend. Even though she betrayed me, even though she tried to ruin me, there was still a part of me that mourned what we'd had, or what I thought we'd had. 2 months later, I saw her at a coffee shop in Brooklyn. She looked smaller somehow, defeated. She saw me, and for a second, we just stared at each other. She didn't apologize. She just said, "I hope it was worth it." And I realized she wasn't talking about the job. She was talking about destroying her. I didn't answer. I just walked away. Because the truth is, I don't know if it was worth it. I got everything I wanted, but I also learned that the people closest to you are the ones who can hurt you the most. And sometimes, even when you win, you still lose something you can never get back. But if I had to do it all over again, if I walked into that office and found out my best friend had stolen my work, my future, my dreams, I'd burn it all down exactly the same way. Because some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. Some people don't deserve second chances. And sometimes, the only way to survive is to make sure the person who tried to bury you learns that you're not someone who stays buried. I sleep fine at night knowing Rachel learned that lesson, even if it cost me the last piece of innocence I had left. Before you go, I have a question for you. Do you think Claire did the right thing? Was exposing Rachel justified? Or should she have handled it differently? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you would have done in her situation. Also, comment your name and country so I can give you a shout out in my next video. And if this story kept you hooked till the end, smash that like button and subscribe for more intense storytelling every week.